Hi there, Nate Urandi, Orion Training Systems. A lot in the news lately about anti-doping. Surprise, surprise. Yes, this is another post on doping and anti-doping, but really today is about the hypocrisy of the anti-doping movement. Just more recently, for example, today, Lizzie Dinan, who, as you may recall, had three missed whereabouts for out of competition doping. And of course, just like other athletes who've done the same, had myriad excuses. It's so complicated and I missed some things and blah, whatever. It's all excuses. It's all bullshit. But what's interesting is she's now calling out for greater Adams scrutiny, especially across other women cyclists and athletes. So how can she call that out when not even a year ago she was lambasting the entire system because it was poor her? Don't get it. Don't care, quite frankly. Some more hypocrisy. More and more retired professional athletes calling out for greater stringencies around the doping process, or I should say, doping testing process. Yet, where were these athletes during their own careers? You know, the days of Christophe Basson's basically torpedoing his own career because he was so staunchly against doping and was happy to speak out about it are gone. So I don't need to hear about it when you're no longer an athlete, no longer in the testing pool. Let's hear about it when you are. Let's hear you call out your fellow athletes that you know, or at least suspect, are skirting the system or taking advantage of it in the case of the TUEs, therapeutic use exemptions. Don't wait till you're done. That's no different than pulling up to somebody next to somebody in your car with your windows up and giving them the finger because they cut you off. When you're within the bubble of safety, who gives a shit what you do and what your opinions are? It's really, there's no teeth behind it. So, anyways. Another thing, current athletes who say they're clean and are beating the anti-doping drum, yet, give kudos to their fellow athletes who are known and convicted dopers as being great champions and so forth. Yet, it's a tough one, right? You can call out folks like Michele Scarpone, who recently tragically died in a training ride right after the Tour of the Alps. Lifelong doper, convicted, served a ban, yet one of the nicest guys in the peloton and a character. So another example, Alejandro Valverde, same thing. Convicted, lifelong doper based on the teams he's with, gets caught, gets banned, comes back, probably still doping, given he's 37 and lighting it up out there. Yet another genuinely nice guy. He donated his earnings from winning Bastogne-Liège to Scarpone's family. And so dopers aren't necessarily evil people at their core. But they do make bad decisions and do cheat and do things to get ahead that fly in the face of having a moral compass. Yet, how do we reconcile that with, these other things that show them to be genuinely good people? It's tough and it's hypocritical, but it's tough. Then you look at WADA, you look at the national anti-doping bodies, and everybody's going at it in a very ineffectual way. They're testing the wrong athletes. Who gives a shit if an Iranian cyclist gets caught, quite frankly? He's not the top of the top, the cream of the sport. Why don't we spend more time, money, and resources going after the top people in the sport and create this trickle-down effect of circumstance where if you get caught, it will impact you greatly. Nobody really cares if the bottom of the barrel athletes, whether it's amateurs or peripheral athletes, get caught. That doesn't trickle up. We need something that trickles down and creates God-fearing fear in athletes where they're like, wow, if that person got caught, good chance that I will. But again, nobody cares if it's a bottom-up effect. But lastly, we as a human population are hypocritical. It's hardwired into us to win, to get ahead, to, survive. It's survival of the fittest. And so just because we no longer have to, fight for our survival, meaning we're not killing each other to be the best and to earn the breeding rights and to lead and win, we're still hardwired that way. That's not going to go away. So it's morphing from survival to winning, and from life or death to rags or riches. So as a species, our own hardwired moral compass, leaves a little bit to be desired. So it's really not as simple as, are you making a decision to dope or not? And hopefully I've communicated that maybe a little verbosely here, but hopefully that's what's coming through. It's not a simple question. It might be a simple answer and a simple decision, but it's not a simple question. So it leads to hypocrisy at many levels, and it's really sad. You can't be afraid to call it out when you see it. And you can't be afraid of what your peers are going to think, as hard as that sounds and as challenging as that might be. But if we're really going to change this tide and get to a point where the majority of athletes in any given sport at any given level are actually clean versus the majority being downright dirty cheaters, then we have to put mechanisms in place, and it starts with the athletes themselves. It doesn't start with WADA or the national anti-doping bodies. It doesn't start at the team level. It doesn't start at the sponsor level. It starts at the individual level. So I'll leave you with that. Certainly leave your comments below. And as always, happy training.